The past 2 seasons, I've had the opportunity to race CFMOTO ZFORCE 800 at the 24 Hours of Le Tuque race in Le Tuque, Quebec. This is an absolutely brutal 2-hour endurance race that, in my opinion, proves the durability of any vehicle that can survive it. The first year I raced a completely stock ZFORCE 800 and won the 6 to 800cc stock class. Last season I raced a ZFORCE with CFMOTO's Stage 1 and 2 performance kits and upgraded suspension. Had it not been for a first turn pileup, I very likely could have won the 800 mod class as well. To say I learned a lot about this vehicle during that time would be a massive understatement. On top of all that, I've also spent considerable time in a ZFORCE at all different locations and in all different types of conditions. I know this vehicle well, and I'm very comfortable with it. So here's what I like, and what I don't, about CFMOTO's flagship performance side-by-side. First up, the motor. Under the hood of the ZFORCE 800 lies an 800cc 8-valve EFI V-twin. It outputs somewhere in the neighborhood of 63 horsepower and, in all honesty, is a great running engine. On the other hand, it's hard to ignore the fact that in today's sport side-by-side marketplace, 63 horsepower is on the low end of the scale. The question is that a bad thing? And the answer is no. A high-quality set of CV Tech clutches do a great job of transferring that 63 horsepower to the ground. It really pulls surprisingly hard. But all that aside, two things need to be understood. First, the ZFORCE 800EX has almost no direct competition. In the 60-inch wide 60-plus horsepower category, there's really only two competitors, the ZFORCE and Arctic Cat's Wildcat Sport. So it really doesn't have to be a Razor 1000 or Maverick beater because it's not in the same class. And second, its only competition, the Wildcat, retails for almost $3,000 more. When you take both of these points into consideration, the ZFORCE 800 starts to look pretty darn competitive and like it's a pretty good deal. Chassis-wise, the ZFORCE 800 hasn't changed in a number of years. Double A-arms front and rear yield 11 inches of travel on both ends, and all four corners are damped by a set of generic, compression and rebound adjustable piggyback shocks. In terms of suspension performance, the ZFORCE 800 has a lot of potential. Travel numbers are really good, and from personal experience I can say the suspension geometry is really good as well. But the shocks, while adjustable, leave some room for improvement when you start to push them at higher speeds. Up front, it's easy to overdrive all 11 inches of travel, and out back it's hard to find a balance between bottoming resistance and a plush ride. I've always found the ZFORCE handle pretty well. Power steering is well tuned, if not a little bit on the low side when it comes to the assist level. Initial turn-in is predictable and it sticks to its line. When you get the tail out at higher speeds, there's a moment where handling gets vague, but it's only a moment, and once you get beyond it, holding a slide isn't a problem. If I had to pick on one thing about the ZFORCE 800, it would be the interior. Fit and finish is not up to the same level as its competition, and interior space is pretty sparse. As a tall guy, I feel cramped in most sport side-by-sides, but I feel extra cramped inside the small driver compartment of the ZFORCE. I can't stretch my legs at all, and even with the seat fully reclined, the steering wheel is too close to my chest. Interior dimensions are very similar to the original Razor, but time has marched on, and now all manufacturers are building their sport side-by-sides with a lot more legroom. The features list for the ZFORCE 800EX EPS like we have here is pretty impressive. CFMOTO hangs their hat on the value-added sales pitch and includes a replay HD camera with the purchase of any CFMOTO unit. Beyond that, a winch is standard, as are mirrors, nice-looking aluminum wheels, stainless bumpers, fender extensions, and a cargo net. 4-point harnesses, skid plates, and turn signals all come pre-installed on Canadian models. For our Canadian viewers, CFMOTO is working really hard at expanding their already decent dealer network. North of the border buyers also get a 5-year limited warranty. So if you're Canadian, there's actually quite a few perks to buying a CFMOTO. For all North Americans, the ZFORCE 800EX EPS is cheaper than its competition, by a lot, and you get more for your money in terms of features. These are good things. At the end of the day, the question that needs to be asked, though, is whether or not you feel comfortable buying a CFMOTO, a company that, despite being around for nearly a decade in North America and a lot longer overseas, is still very new to most. Should you buy one? Well, if the lower price and long list of features appeals to you, and if you have a local dealer, I think you should seriously consider taking a look at one. Because in my experience, the ZFORCE 800EX EPS is one tough vehicle. Thanks for watching this segment of Trax TV. For more great content, make sure you click the links or subscribe to our channel where we're always updating with new content every day throughout the week.